week 2 of Mirror Now's campaign, Old Car Not Bekaar. Over the past week, we put the spotlight on the Delhi government's high-handedness, where private overage vehicles are being seized and sent to the junkyard without any prior notice to citizens. These past few days, we've heard many stories from you about how your cars are being towed away from right outside your homes and offices, from inside gated communities, of how your rights are being violated, trampled upon and quashed. Now, after multiple attempts at passing the buck and dodging questions, today the Special Commissioner for Transport of Delhi was forced to respond to citizens. He met up with people whose cars were picked up by his department without any prior notice. And from what we are learning, the Transport Department has agreed to return the vehicles of non-Delhi residents. Essentially, if the registration is not Delhi and some other state and your car has been picked up, the Transport Commissioner says that there is a possibility that these cars can be returned. But the catch is, these people, citizens, will have to prove to the Delhi government that their vehicles were indeed picked up from their residences/gated colonies. So the Transport Department essentially has put the onus back on citizens. First, you pick up a vehicle from outside my home, and then to release it, you want me to prove that it was indeed picked up from outside my house. What is this if not the theatre of the absurd playing out in Delhi? What's the ego about? The Transport Department, the MCD and the police have been wrong, picking up vehicles without informing people, without giving notices. It's wrong. Then why are you being obstinate? If you've made a mistake, you've flouted rules, simply return the cars to the citizens who've been running around in circles trying to get it back. Why not tell them that you have to prove to us that we picked up your vehicles from outside your homes or offices, and only then will we return them to you? You made a mistake. Now what's the ego in admitting that you were wrong? This is what some of these citizens have told our reporter Ela right after that meeting got over. Listen in.
क्या बात हुई है आपकी? वहाँ गए आप, इतनी कुछ उम्मीदें लेकर के आए होंगे।
लास्ट वीक उन्होंने बोला था कि मंडे आइए, मंडे तो मिले नहीं हमें। मंडे का फिर उन्होंने आज टाइम दिया था 5 बजे। आज मिले हैं, काफ़ी देर उन्होंने बातचीत भी करी है, प्रॉब्लम भी सुनी है। उन्होंने आश्वासन दिया है आप एक लेटर लिखिए, जो भी आपकी प्रॉब्लम है हमने बताई है इनको, जो कि हमारी रिपेयरिंग के लिए गाड़ी आई थी दिल्ली में, कि 1-2 घंटे का टाइम दिया था मैकेनिक ने, तो थोड़ी देर के लिए बस राजौरी गार्डन में खड़ी थी, तो उन्होंने जो भी इनके ग्रुप में सर्कुलेशन हो के फ़ोटो चले गया था, तो स्क्रैपिंग वाले जो हैं और जो इनकी टीम है एनफोर्समेंट वाली, वो आके उन्होंने सीज़र मेमो दे के हमारी गाड़ी सीज़ करी थी।
कौन सी गाड़ी थी आपकी?
हमारी BMW X6 थी, जिसकी आज अगर आप ख़रीदने जाएंगे तो शायद 1 करोड़ 70 लाख रुपए की गाड़ी है न्यू, और सेकेंड हैंड लेने जाएंगे तो कम से कम, आज मैंने मार्केट वैल्यू पता करी है, 1 साल 2 साल पुरानी, मतलब जो हमारी वैल्यू थी, मतलब हमारी एज से पुरानी, तकरीबन 65 लाख रुपीस की मिल रही है।
पहले भी एप्लीकेशन दी है, आज भी हमने उनके अंदर थोड़ा लिख के दे दिया कि हमने ठीक करने के लिए लाए थे गाड़ी यहाँ पे, तो इसलिए कह रहे हैं आप लिख के दे दीजिए, फिर हम देखेंगे उस पर करके।
अभी भी कोई साफ तरह से
ऐसा उन्होंने कोई जवाब नहीं दिया कि अच्छा हो जाएगा कि नहीं हो जाएगा, बस आप कह रहे दे दो। तो मैम किसी को मिल गई है, अब हम उनका कैसे उन्होंने किया है क्या नहीं किया है, अपने को हमने तो एप्लीकेशन दोबारा डाल दिया है, अब क्या कहते हैं देखते हैं, लेट्स सी।
उनसे वीडियो का प्रूफ मंगा रहे हैं और आपसे लेटर मंगा रहे हैं, अभी भी प्रूफ और लेटर्स के पीछे आप लोगों को भागना?
नहीं मैम, हमारे पास ऐसा कुछ प्रूफ नहीं है ना, हमारे तो घर के बाहर खड़ी हुई थी, बस गाड़ी चल नहीं रही थी रोड पे, हमारे पास यही प्रूफ है, बस हम ये दे सकते हैं। हम CCTV कैमरा निकाल के दे देंगे, हमारी गाड़ी घर के बाहर खड़ी है, बस रोड पर नहीं चल रही थी कहीं पे। तो अभी इन्होंने पता नहीं, अब रोड पर नहीं चल रही थी फिर भी उठा लिया गाड़ी, तो अब इनका क्या नया रूल आ गया है, कुछ किसी को इंटीमेट नहीं करते हैं पहले कि भैया घर से भी उठा लेंगे या कुछ कर लेंगे, कुछ बताया नहीं गया था ऐसा, कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिला था।
मैंने इनको गाड़ी दिलाया था, ये सेल कराया था, पेपर भी सब रेडी हो गया, और गाड़ी ये वहाँ हमारे ऑफिस से उठा कर ले आए, और अब कह रहे हैं गाड़ी को स्क्रैप करेंगे। जब आपने स्क्रैप ही करना है तो आप ये NOC तो मत इशू करो, ठीक है ना? तो आप NOC भी दे रहे हो एक तरफ और फिर कह रहे हो गाड़ी स्क्रैप भी है, तो फिर इसका NOC का क्या मतलब है? या तो आप, वो भी दिल्ली का ही है, ठीक है ना, या तो आप इनको NOC को इशू मत करो जब आपने स्क्रैप ही करनी है गाड़ी 10 साल के बाद।
first you harass citizens, then you know you're in the wrong because you've flouted all rules while picking up these vehicles. So you decide to harass citizens further and tell them, okay, if you want your vehicles back, if they're not registered in Delhi, then you need to show us proof that they were picked up from outside gated colonies and from outside your home. I mean, what's the logic in that? You've made a mistake, accept it, just return them their cars. My guest this evening is Aditya Pratap. He's an advocate. He's joining us on the broadcast. But before I go to him, let me quickly go across to a couple of callers. Augustine, you're calling us from Delhi. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening. First of all, I must really appreciate your channel and the people, those who have pursued this particular contagious issue with the Delhi people, the citizens we are all facing. I really wanted to tell you that Mirror Now is the first channel to pick up these sort of issues, which is really, concerned with the citizens of Delhi especially. Okay? So, see, this might be related to the environment and they're trying to do something better in the administration. But I must admit that this is not a well-thought process, The systems is not right. This is not well-thought one, okay? And at the same time, people in Delhi are also conscious. We are all breathing the same air. We know better than the others what we are all doing. Every citizen is trying to, he or she, even the school children, all the people are involved. There's so many things happen like on and odd and even and all other things. But this particular thing of scrapping forcefully is not a well-thought process, Okay, people will definitely cooperate. The people are there to support. Okay, but my point is, it is not a well-thought process. You must show this mirror to all the officials of the Delhi government and the transport and all the people involved and keep on bringing these issues. Okay, this is not a well-thought process. They should revive all this in accordance to the citizens and bring in some sort of a system where voluntarily people come and do it, not by force.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll take more callers, but before I do that, let's quickly get in Aditya Pratap, who's also joining us on the broadcast. Aditya Pratap, for this nonsense, as I would say, has been going on for the last couple of years. It has only intensified in the last 3 to 4 months. Here you have a situation where there are no notices, absolutely no notices being given to citizens before their cars are being picked up. And these cars are not picked up, not being picked up from random markets where they are parked. They've been parked inside gated colonies and outside people's homes. So, you're randomly picking up these cars without a notice. For the last 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you have citizens, and there have been more than enough citizens who have called us here on Mirror Now and spoken to us, who are telling us that they have knocked at every door to get their cars released. They are saying, A, registration hamara Delhi ka nahi hai, B, we still are not at that stage where we are 15 years old, etc., etc. And yet, no one wants to listen to them. They have been turned away from every corner. After 2 weeks of a campaign being on a national channel, the Transport Commissioner deigns to meet these citizens, and then imposes an illogical condition to return their cars. You prove to us that it was parked within gated colonies and outside your homes. Only if you are in a position to prove that to us, will we give you back your car. So you pick up my car from outside my home or my gated colony, and to return it, you say, prove it. Kahan ka logic hai? What is this? This is the theatre of the absurd that is playing out in Delhi.
Well, in my opinion, this appears to be a complete white-collared mafia raj. And it runs completely contrary to the scrapping procedure laid down by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways for end-of-life vehicles. We have the Automotive Industry Standards, AIS, and it very clearly specifies, the scrapping procedure, that the scrapping of vehicles shall be carried out by a registered scrapper after following the prescribed statutory procedure. Then, the registered owner or his representative has to hand over the vehicle together with an application as per Form 2 in 2 originals to the registered scrapper. So the people who are owning the vehicles, they have to hand over the vehicle to the registered scrapper along with the necessary forms. And then apart from that, then the necessary list of collection centers have to be published. Then further, even vehicles impounded by an enforcement agency have to be handed over to the registered scrapper. So there's a complete, then the guidelines for impounding also. And then what it also says that each vehicle, you have to match it with the vehicle registration database. and check all the documentations and records and everything. Then, then along with Form 2, the vehicle owner has to submit the original certificate of registration and everything. So when there's a very elaborate statutory procedure laid down for scrapping of vehicles, I fail to understand. It defies my imagination how the government is resorting to such an arbitrary mafia-esque procedure to deprive people, strip people of the right to property. And in fact, it is worth noting that,
that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true, Aditya. The fact is that you're flouting every rule in the book. There are rules. If you want to scrap a car, there are rules. Yes, a car may have, crossed 15 years. Yes, the Supreme Court and the NGT have said that no car can ply on the roads of Delhi after 15 years. They've said no cars can ply on the roads. They haven't said that if there is a car parked inside your gated society, even that will be picked up. And nowhere has the Supreme Court said that this entire procedure has to be done without informing the citizen. So there is a good reason why citizens are not being informed. There's a good reason why citizens are being harassed. And many callers here on Mirror Now have spoken about a mafia that is at play here, that there are people who are making money in the process. Give me a minute. We have Mugdh Yadav, who's calling us from Delhi on the broadcast. Mr. Yadav, please go ahead.
Yes. My father has 9 years old diesel vehicle registered in Gurgaon. He paid tax for 15 years, but now he is worried about the order of Supreme Court and NGT for cancellation of registration of my vehicle. And he also felt that Delhi government should go to Supreme Court for reconsideration of its earlier order and should keep the problem of people before Supreme Court. Or all vehicles should be converted to electric vehicles with subsidized amount. Thank you.
Okay, Mugdh, thank you very much. Thank you. That was Mugdh, who was a kid, I think, who was calling us, and he is raising a point again, which is a very valid point. His father, has a 9-year-old diesel vehicle. He has paid tax for 15 years. Will the government return the tax after 1 year to say, okay, we have changed our rules, you can take your tax back? No. In fact, there are enough and more citizens who have called to say that even when their vehicles have been taken away, in some cases they've been taken away without a receipt, without any notice, and no one has even paid them value for the scrap. Those vehicles have simply gone missing. So there is something terribly wrong in the way this entire drive is being implemented in the national capital, and it certainly won't help if the Transport Commissioner of Delhi, doesn't listen to people, turns them away, makes them wait, and then when he finally meets them, tells them, okay, fine, maybe we were wrong, actually doesn't accept that. We will return your car to you if it wasn't registered in Delhi, but you have to prove that it was actually parked outside your house or inside your gated colony. I mean, seriously, governance is meant to make the life of citizens easy. Governance is not meant to harass tax-paying citizens, and that's exactly what the Delhi government is doing. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Thank you to Aditya Pratap for joining us as well. It was good to have you on the show. It was good to speak to you. Let's now shift our focus